Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Chuck Graham Show. I've got to do this today. If you want to support the show, you can do it at charlesgraham.com. That's charlesgraham.com. And we have a pretty good bit to get into today. I was sitting here trying to read at the same time I was trying to talk. We have a pretty good bit to get into. It's about socialism and the Communist Party, Cuba. Stay tuned. All right, well, let's get into it today. You hear a lot about socialism, like AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez talks about socialism, right? Like it's a great thing. Like there's some kind of reason why this country needs to have socialism, where you own nothing. Now, here's what they'll say. Let me tell you the difference between socialism and democratic socialism. Now, what they're trying to push is another form of socialism which will fail in probably record fucking time. All right, so socialism is where the government comes in, like Castro did in Cuba, and takes all private property. The state owns it all. They own all private property. They own all businesses, most of the businesses. They have really absurd restrictions on everybody. And guess what? They talk about the 1% in America. Well, what they're really talking about is they want to eliminate the middle class, because the middle class in this country has basically all the power. You see that in elections. You see that in democracy. You see that when people build businesses and, you know, from their garages. Case in point, Bill Gates, Zuckerberg. You've got Amazon built it from a basement. I mean, not a basement, but a garage. Look, all this would not be possible without a constitutional republic. That's what we are, is a constitutional republic. We're really not a democracy. They've twerked the name of democracy to mean constitutional republic. But what we are is a constitutional republic. Now, let's see what socialism is. Well, socialism is when the government takes all your property, like I just said, takes all your land, you own nothing, you have nothing, you get a lot of free stuff, right? Well, probably looks pretty good on paper for the first year or so, and then it starts to collapse because you get rid of incentives, you get rid of innovation, you can look at Cuba and tell they still drive cars from the 1950s. There is no fresh vegetables that people can buy. There are no fresh meats that people can buy. You can go to jail for fishing for your own lobster or shrimp. They restrict internet access. It is not a free society. Socialism is not freedom. It is oppression. So the point being is this. When you have a socialist society like that, it all starts out looking really good. Have you ever seen the social programs? I'll give you one, Obamacare. When Obamacare started, I could get insurance because I'm self-employed. I could get insurance for roughly a really good price. Now, no. Unless you're on welfare and make hardly any money, there is no good price. It was for about 2 years. Now it is as much as what my wife has me on her plan at like $550 a month. It's roughly the same price. The marketplace does not work. The health insurance on her Obamacare is a fucking disaster. And not to mention your deductible was what? I checked on it, $8,000. Unless I have a fucking heart attack, the insurance does me no good at all. So the point being is it all starts out well, but the government runs nothing well. Their function is to protect us, to provide local services, that sort of thing. Their job is not to intervene in the free market. And people say, well, it ought to be criminal to make that much profit. Why? Why should it be criminal? You take the risk, you get the reward. You build something, you get the reward of it. Your workers, they get a wage for the work that they do, that they agree to give their labor for what you agree to pay them for. It's all in So if they agree to work for this amount of money, then that should be fine. There should be a minimum wage, but it shouldn't be $15 an hour. Look at McDonald's. They're starting to automate, even the cooks. Yeah, you get your minimum wage raised, and really that's for students. Nobody pays minimum wage for any kind of job that is worth anything. That's just a farce. I remember coming up, I worked for $3.35 an hour. I was 18 years old. Worked 50, 60 hours a week. The point being is this. The one that takes the risk gets the reward. And that's how a constitutional republic that is under capitalism works. Capitalism works, people. Ask any Cuban that have swam here in a bathtub. That's why the Biden administration don't want the Cubans. That's why they tried to do away with wet foot, dry foot policy. They don't want Cubans. Because this is why. Cubans are not theorizing what socialism is. They're fucking living it. Right now, they're living it. Now, here's the thing. They're going to try to tell you that it is democratic socialism. Like that dipshit AOC would say. Democratic socialism. What is that? That's where you keep your property. You keep your business. You're able to innovate. But they take all your profits through taxation. Or do they? They don't for the big corporations. Even if they had an 80% tax on big corporations, it wouldn't matter. Because the big corporations would have net operating losses that they could carry over from year to year. And they would have accountants and team of accountants. What it would affect is your small businesses. Listen, lower taxes creates innovation. Donald Trump proved it. And he basically destroyed their picking at trickle-down economics. Well, apparently trickle-down economics worked. But I tell you what doesn't work, shutting down a pipeline, destroying 50,000 jobs, and then begging OPEC to provide oil for us. But that's another show. God, if I have to look at that fucking stupid motherfucker one more time, I think I'm going to hurl. It makes no sense. Now, I don't agree with Donald Trump when he shut down and said, governors, y'all the one who has the power. Y'all can shut down. That was a stupid mistake on his part. That was asinine. And I like Trump, but that was the stupidest thing he could have ever did. However, they take your money through taxation. It's socialism on steroids. With the illusion that you actually own something. Folks, this country, and I said it years ago, they are going to take your freedoms away one stupid ass law at a time. And if you don't believe me, just look at seatbelts. And they're going to do it in the name of protecting you. It's for your good. I'm a grown ass man. If I don't want to wear a seatbelt, I won't fucking wear the damn thing. Regulation after regulation after regulation all comes down to that. So what do? Let me share with you the stupid fucking laws under socialism in Cuba. Cubans cannot access the internet on their homes, according to the Daily Beast. No selling on tourist boats. No cable TV. Can't live in Havana without a permit. No public demonstrations allowed, period. No political parties allowed, except for the Communist Party of Cuba set in by Castro. No investments in minimum or large enterprises. Not that you would have any fucking money anyway. Can't import wireless microphones, walkie-talkies, or satellite communication devices without authorization from the government. No inviting a foreigner to spend the night without a permit. Freely selling lobsters and shrimp is against the law. You can do up to 6 years in prison for that in Cuba. If you pick up a foreigner in a private car, you may be in some serious trouble. They can seize your car, take it. Why? Because the state owns the taxi companies, folks. They don't like competition. The state does not like competition. And here's the most stupid one of all. You can go to jail if you bring from abroad 25 or more artificial fingernails is against the law. All I can tell you, Cubans, come on in. The water's fine. We should be taking them in by the droves. Why? Because they would appreciate this country, unlike these dipshits on the left that keep pushing these programs that don't fucking work. Just because you're rich doesn't make me poor. And that is my 2 cents for the day. If you want to support the show, you can do that at charlesgraham.com. And I will see you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.